So the GoPro Hero 7 Black had a lot of audio improvement over previous GoPros, but I wanted to see how it would stack up, or how each of the different audio settings would stack up against using something like this windscreen. So I wanted to test in a couple of different settings. I wanted to test in an extremely high wind setting, and I wanted to test in just a normal walking around outside.
Here we are, full auto mode. Pro Tune is off.
Talking to the camera, kind of a deal. So the GoPro audio record options consist of full auto, Pro Tune auto, wind, and stereo. First, I tested each of these options in strong wind without a windscreen. All right, so here we are in full auto. I also wanted to see how it would sound facing the camera away from the wind. Then I tried to see if it could pick up my voice facing towards me in the car.
Can I hear my voice? Can you hear my voice at all?
So without the windscreen, you can tell that everything is pretty much obliterated. You can't hear me talking, all you can hear is the wind blasting into those microphones. When the camera is facing away from the wind, you can tell that it's not as intense, the sound is better. And there would be more potential to hear someone talking facing that direction, but still it's pretty bad. Now I'm going to do those same tests with a windscreen.
All right, here we are with the windscreen in full auto.
All right, so you can already tell the windscreen makes a huge improvement, but I'm going to go ahead and do the other two tests. Here's facing away from the wind. From both of those examples, it looks like stereo is the most noisy, but here's the talk test. So when the camera is facing me in the car wearing that windscreen, you can actually hear my voice. The wind is still loud enough and making enough sound that you can't really make out what I'm saying, but you can tell that I'm talking and you can hear the words. Overall, I would say if you're going to be in any kind of strong wind and you want any chance of having usable voice audio, definitely go with a windscreen. Otherwise, for windy settings in general, whether you have a windscreen or not, try to avoid the stereo setting. It just picks up too much detail in the wind. So the other setting I tested in was just a normal outdoors walking around talking setting. And I found in this case that there was actually very little difference between the different settings and even between using the windscreen or not.
So here we are without the windscreen in full auto mode, so no Pro Tune. So it should know if it needs to kick in the wind setting or the stereo. It should be compensating for the wind as best as it knows how. Pro Tune wind mode, stereo mode in Pro Tune, so it should not be compensating for the wind.
You probably noticed that the wind setting sounded noticeably different than the other recordings, and that's because it cuts those higher frequencies, which is great for eliminating wind, but it also has the effect of muffling the sound. So again, if you're not in a windy environment, I wouldn't recommend using the wind setting. Here are the examples with the windscreen.
Here we are with the windscreen in full auto mode. I'm crunching through the snow. Here's Pro Tune on with mics in auto. Those are mics in wind mode, still in Pro Tune, and this is with the windscreen. Okay, and here is stereo mode, so not in wind mode. And we really don't have much wind.
It's really hard to tell the difference in a no to low wind environment, between using the GoPro with the windscreen and without. So I would say if it's a calm day and the forecast looks good for no to low wind, you probably don't need to worry about something like a windscreen. However, if you are going to be in a situation where you know there will be wind and the audio is important to you, I would definitely recommend having a windscreen. This setup obviously has some limitations. It's not going to be able to work well in water, for example. And it's not as easy to just take the GoPro and drop it in your pocket. It's just a little cumbersome. Kind of want to hacky sack this thing. But if it makes the difference, it definitely could be worth it in the right situation. So if it's windy and the audio is important to you, definitely use a windscreen. If it's not windy, I wouldn't worry about it.